Have you ever wondered how ordinary people became heroes in the shadows of Nazi-occupied France? While tanks rumbled through Paris and propaganda banners fluttered, a silent war burned in forests, mountains, and city cellars. They were called the Maquis. Farmers, teachers, shopkeepers, teenage messengers, transforming into insurgents, living by code names, risking death for freedom. Sometimes it started with a whispered warning, a fake identity card, or simply refusing to say, "Heil Hitler." By night, the Maquis struck, blowing up railway lines, derailing troop trains, slicing communication wires, ambushing Nazi convoys. Sabotage wasn't just chaos, it was calculated. A single destroyed track could stall an entire German division, leaving them stranded without supplies or reinforcements. Their weapons were whatever they could steal, barter, or drop from the sky. At first, it was rusty hunting rifles and stolen pistols. Then, thanks to the British SOE, came Sten guns, plastic explosives, and mysterious packages floating by parachute. Imagine this. You're hiding in a cold, smoky barn. The only light is a tin lamp. Someone taps the door twice, then once. The password changes every week. Tonight's mission? Cut a key railway, then vanish before sunrise. Meet Lucie Aubrac. She rescued her husband from a Gestapo prison, outsmarting Klaus Barbie, the Butcher of Lion, and inspired dozens more to fight. Or the Red Poster resistance group. Many foreign-born communists who waged bomb attacks in occupied Paris, knowing the Nazis would hunt every one of them, plastering their faces across the city. Sometimes there were no guns, just courage and a printing press. Thousands of underground newspapers spread coded messages and hope. The Maquis didn't operate alone. Rural villagers risked everything by sharing meager food, hiding fighters in cellars or cliffs, nursing wounds, passing on secrets in baskets of bread. But betrayal lurked everywhere. German patrols and the milice, Vichy's bitter police, hunted down the Maquis. If caught, the punishment was torture or a bullet. Some entire villages, like Oradour-sur-Glane, paid the ultimate price. Did you know the Maquis sometimes staged fake bandit attacks to lure German troops into wild chases, then disappeared into forests they knew like the backs of their hands? When D-Day approached, coded signals crackled across the BBC. The dice is on the carpet. A signal for sabotage to explode everywhere across France. In June 1944 alone, more than 1,800 sabotage attacks crippled German communications, highways, and train lines, sowing confusion as Allied troops stormed Normandy's beaches. Yet, victory came with heartbreak. After liberation, the Maquis emerged from hiding. Some hailed as heroes, others haunted by loss and old wounds. Their legacy is not just about daring raids or dramatic explosions. It's about the determination behind every midnight march, the whispered code words, the promise to never surrender. Without the Maquis, D-Day might have failed. Their sabotage cut off German reinforcements, saving countless Allied lives. Their courage peeled back the mask of oppression, one risk at a time. Resistance isn't always about fighting with bullets. Sometimes it's the decision to say, "No more," and to back it with every fiber of your being, night after perilous night. The Maquis wrote their story in shadows. But every act, every spark of defiance shaped the freedom we know today. So, next time you see a quiet hillside or a winding French rail line, remember, history's bravest heroes often moved unseen, leaving traces only the keenest eyes can find. What would you risk for freedom?